So now a nationwide lockdown, or MCO 3.0, will be imposed across Malaysia until June 7th. This, as we know, is a major U-turn from previous announcements that were made just last week. Malaysia is currently facing its third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic that could trigger a national crisis, and also with the existence of new variants with higher infection rates, with increasing. A lot of the rulings are still the same. So as we know, interstate travel previously was announced that it's not allowed, and this will still continue. So many Muslims.
It's been a tough 2 years, to say the least, for Malaysia's tourism industry. The COVID-19 pandemic and protracted lockdowns have brought the industry to its knees. The country lost $9 billion of its annual earnings last year and gave up 83% of its 2019 visitors total.
Tourism is about mobility, about people moving. No movement means no income for the people. The unprecedented situation, it is very challenging.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Zulkifli. And through what you have said, I think it's definitely the perfect and the right choice for us to pick you as our interviewee for today. So, without further ado, we will start with the first question. So, the first question is, how does COVID-19 crisis affect the tourism industry in Malaysia?
So basically, what I can say, the pandemic affected not only tourism industry in Malaysia but in the whole world. Okay, and of course, it's really I can say damage the tourism industry as a whole. It could be an operator, it could be a manpower that working in the industry. It could be the hotel owner, for example. It could be a local operator. Furthermore, so in general, I can say it is really affected hard to tourism practitioner in Malaysia as a whole, and I believe not only Malaysia, the whole world affected by this pandemic. Yeah.
Thank you. I do agree with you. Definitely, COVID-19 has affected many industries, not just tourism. There are many kind of industry like F&B, and not just in Malaysia, but also the world. So, we move on to the next question. How does the government, specifically the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, assist the industry players who are affected by the pandemic?
Okay, first at all, we have a various stakeholder in tourism, as general, and of course the core authorities is Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. But in state level, in say district level, there are other party involved in tourism. So the ministry really work hard to give aid to tourism practitioner in terms of giving some sum of money or some allowance to practitioner like the tour guides, the travel agents, the bus driver, as well as local operator owners, like guest house owner or homestay in general. And besides that, they also redeem tax to travel agencies in Malaysia for the past 2 years. So they don't need to pay tax and also to renew the license in order for them to keep in the business for another 2-3 years, I believe. And beside that, with the action taken by our ministry, that they already open in tourism sectors in a few areas, like a bubble travel area, like recently in Langkawi, and soon I think in Tioman and other places that they are going to open to tourists to see how this kind of action can give some relief to the practitioner in general. And beside that, they will open slowly to all places of interest in order to overcome this problem. I do believe we give some ample time, so even more helps and also assist will be given by the ministry to ensure that all of the practitioners still in the industry. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your answer. And yes, I've heard that they're actually opening for Malacca and
Yeah,
Melbourne.
soon.
Yeah.
Exactly, soon. Yeah.
So, my next question: how do the players in the tourism industry survive since the beginning of this pandemic last year?
Okay, I always be positive in any things happens in life. So we're talking about alternative among the tourism practitioner in order to face this pandemic. So these things make them more creative in terms of to survive for their well-being of themselves. So I can say most of them try to venture to a new business, online business, for example, food preparation business, transportation business to be door ship things and such. We can see now that all of these facilities sending things are mushrooming everywhere in general. So due to this pandemic, they need to be creative in order to still be able to live in this world. And I take it positive that without their creativity, it's impossible for them to survive in nowadays challenge in their life. So they become more creative actually to be. And some of them become food producer, so become a farmer as well, in order to survive on daily basis. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The next question is: aside from negative impacts, are there any positive impact of this pandemic on domestic tourism?
Yeah, as I said, there are always positive things in every situation occur in our life. So what I can say in my personal point of view as a practitioner, positively, we can say that domestic tourism are booming because people cannot travel abroad. Okay, so we encourage people to travel domestically. And beside that, I can say that people now look more on nature-based tourism rather than commercial tourism like before, shopping things and such. Because as we know, in nature, like in our forest reserve, in our national park islands, for example, the environment will not that, how to say, threat the visitors to compare with the other type of tourism, for example shopping tourism or urban tourism. If they visit cities and urban area to compare with the venture to nature area. So I can say that because of the pandemic, the appreciation of our locals towards our natural world are more concerned than before. Okay, that's what can I say in my perspective. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I do agree with what you said. Like before this, maybe we don't actually focuses on the nature aspect of tourism, and when pandemic happened, people are starting to look at. I think it's actually a good approach.
Yeah.
My next question: could you please tell us the trend of the domestic tourism industry when the pandemic is over?
Okay, the trend, I think we will travel more domestic than abroad because of two concrete reasons. The first is economically speaking, because during the pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people, been cut their wages and such. So they don't have the ability to travel more abroad as before. So we can say that the trend, they will spend more money domestically than to travel abroad. So the appreciation towards nature things are more than before. because sooner or later we need to accept that nature will bring peace and harmony to us. People eager to go to waterfall, recreational areas, forest reserve, national parks, and such, because that can give, how to say, more calmness and also more fun to us, rather than before when we stick to gadget and we will stick to traditional tourism as before. So I can say that nature appreciation are more in trend to compare with the other things in the next level or the next stage in the trend in our tourism, how I can say, behavior of our local people, in general.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So it's actually good to know that the trend is actually increasing for domestic tourism, because in Malaysia there's still many places that we can visit.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, to what extent can domestic tourism be used as an alternative approach to revitalize the tourism industry?
Well, okay. I think the domestic tourism, tourism as a whole, they don't only play as family going out having fun for holiday. So tourism, I do believe, can play the role positively in terms of family bonding. For example, if a family travel together to any domestic area, so they can spend more quality time together, rather than they do themselves, their own things individually. And also, I can say that in tourism, there are more knowledge that any family members or any kids can get or can gain during their travel. It is not only having a fun, but actually it's a process for kids and family to learn more about their own country. For example, between Peninsular Malaysia and Sabah Sarawak, so maybe before this we don't really concerned about our friends and relatives in Sabah Sarawak, ethnic, different ethnic in Sarawak or Sabah, for example. We don't really concern, or we don't really put our focus on native tribe in somewhere in Belum forest, for example. So by the next level, when people more travel domestically, I'm sure that the bonding between our countrymen are more than before, because they will spend their holiday mostly domestically. At the most, maybe they go to Sabah Sarawak for folks from Peninsular Malaysia, and for Sabah Sarawak they will come over to Peninsular Malaysia. So I can see the bonding between our countrymen are much stronger than before. As a big family, as mentioned by our Prime Minister, Keluarga Malaysia is our Malaysian family. So I think this is positively can be taken after this pandemic. I'm sure giving some time, we can be a better citizens and understand each other. Yeah.
So, okay, my final question is, in your opinion, what do you think the relevant measures to revive the tourism industry in Malaysia?
The relevance of what? Not really
Relevant
clear.
measures to revive the tourism industry in Malaysia.
Maybe promotion. Among not only among the authority, promotion among the government, state level, for example, and also beside promotion, I can say that the media nowadays, people stick to gadget, so we can do a promotion, or we can market our product, our destination through media. There are a lot of platforms that we've been using, especially nowadays. I consider myself as older generation. I still prefer the traditional way of meeting people to get information. But nowadays, the medium of social media can play an important role to for our tourism for the next level. Yeah, I do believe so. This is my point of view. Maybe other party, or they have their own their own opinion, and I'm giving the point based on my experience as a practitioner as well as a tourist in general.